Chapter 14. The attention of the entire restaurant is trained on Kate and Elliot, waiting with bated breath as one. The anticipation is unbearable. Silence stretches like a taut rubber band. The atmosphere is oppressive, apprehensive, and yet hopeful. Kate stares blankly at Elliot as he gazes up at her, his eyes wide with longing fear even. Holy crap, Kate, put him out of his misery, please. Geez. He could have asked her privately. A single tear trickles down her cheek, though she remains expressionless. Shit, Kate crying? Then she smiles, a slow disbelieving. I've found Nirvana smile. Yes, she whispers, a breathy, sweet acceptance not Kate-like at all. For 1 nanosecond there's a pause as the entire restaurant exhales a collective sigh of relief, and then the noise is deafening. Spontaneous applause, cheering, catcalls, whooping, and suddenly I have tears rolling down my face, smudging my Barbie meets Joan Jett makeup. Oblivious to the commotion around them, the two are locked in their own little world. From his pocket, Elliot produces a small box, opens it, and presents it to Kate. A ring, and from what I can see, an exquisite ring, but I need a closer look. Is that what he was doing with GIA? Choosing a ring? Shit. Oh. I'm so glad I didn't tell Kate. Kate looks from the ring to Elliot, then throws her arms around his neck. They kiss, remarkably chaste for them, and the crowd goes wild. Elliot stands and acknowledges the approbation with a surprisingly graceful bow and then, wearing a huge self-satisfied grin, sits back down. I can't take my eyes off them. Taking the ring out of its box, Elliot gently slides it onto Kate's finger, and they kiss once more. Christian squeezes my hand. I didn't realize I'd been gripping his so tightly. I release him, a little embarrassed, and he shakes his hand, mouthing, ow, sorry. Did you know about this? I whisper. Christian smiles, and I know that he did. He summons the waiter. 2 bottles of the crystal please. The 2002 if you have it. I smirk at him. What? He asks. Because the 2002 is so much better than the 2003, I tease. He laughs. To the discerning palate, Anastasia. You have a very discerning palate, Mr. Gray, and singular tastes. I smile. That I do, Mrs. Gray. He leans in close. You taste best, he whispers, and he kisses a certain spot behind my ear, sending little shivers down my spine. I blush scarlet and fondly remember his earlier demonstration of the quite literal shortcomings of my dress. Mia is the first up to hug Kate and Elliot, and we all take turns congratulating the happy couple. I clutch Kate in a fierce hug. See? He was just worried about his proposal. And whisper. Oh, Anna? She giggles, sobs. Kate, I am so happy for you. Congratulations. Christian is behind me. He shakes Elliot's hand, then surprising both Elliot and me pulls him into a hug. I can only just catch what he says. Way to go, Lilliet, he murmurs. Elliot says nothing, for once stunned into silence, then warmly returns his brother's hug. Lilliet, thanks, Christian. Elliot chokes out. Christian gives Kate a brief, if awkward, almost arm's-length hug. I know that Christian's attitude toward Kate is tolerant, at best, and ambivalent most of the time, so this is progress. Releasing her, he says, so quietly only she and I can hear. I hope you are as happy in your marriage as I am in mine. Thank you, Christian. I hope so too, she says graciously. Christian holds his champagne flute aloft. To Kate and my dear brother Elliot, congratulations. We all sip. Well, I glug. Crystal tastes so good, and I'm reminded of the first time I drank it at Christian's club, and later, our eventful elevator journey to the first floor. Christian frowns at me. What are you thinking about? He whispers. The first time I drank this champagne. His frown becomes more quizzical. We were at your club, I prompt. He grins. Oh yes, I remember. He winks at me. Elliot, have you set a date? Mia pipes up. Elliot gives his sister an exasperated stare. I've only just asked Kate, so we'll get back to you on that, Kay. Oh, make it a Christmas wedding. That would be so romantic. And you'd have no trouble remembering your anniversary. Mia claps her hands. I'll take that under advisement. Elliot smirks at her. After the champagne, can we please go clubbing? Mia turns and gives Christian her biggest, brown-eyed look. I think we should ask Elliot and Kate what they'd like to do. Double quotes. S1. We turn expectantly to them. Elliot shrugs and Kate turns. Pews. Her carnal intent toward her fiancé is so clear, nearly spit for $100 champagne all over the table. Zach's is the most exclusive nightclub in Aspen, or so says Mia. Christian strolls to the front of the short line with his arm wrapped around my waist and is immediately granted access. I wonder briefly if he owns the place. I glance at my watch, 11:30 in the evening, and I'm feeling fuzzy. The 2 glasses of champagne and several glasses of Pouilly Fum during our meal are starting to have an effect, and I'm grateful Christian has his arm around me. Mr. Gray, welcome back, says a very attractive, leggy blonde in black satin hot pants, matching sleeveless shirt, and a little red bow tie. She smiles broadly, revealing perfect all-American teeth between scarlet lips that match her bow tie. Max will take your coat. A young man dressed entirely in black, fortunately not satin, smiles as he offers to take my coat. His dark eyes are warm and inviting. I am the only one wearing a coat. Christian insisted I take Mia's trench coat to cover my behind, so Max has to deal only with me. Nice coat, he says, gazing at me intently. Beside me, Christian bristles and fixes Max with a back off now glare. He reddens and quickly hands Christian my coat check ticket. Let me show you to your table. Miss Satin Hot Pants flutters her eyelashes at my husband, flicks her long blonde hair, and sashays through the entryway. I tighten my grip around Christian, and he gazes down at me questioningly for a moment, then smirks as we follow Miss Satin Hot Pants into the bar. The lighting is muted, the walls are black, and the furnishings deep red. There are booths flanking 2 sides of the walls, and a large U-shaped bar in the middle. It's busy, given that we're here off-season, but not too crowded, with the well-heeled of Aspen out for a good time on a Saturday night. The dress code is relaxed, and for the first time I feel a little underdressed. I'm not sure which. The floor and walls vibrate with the music pulsing from the dance floor behind the bar, and lights are whirling and flashing on and off. In my heady state, I idly think it's an epileptic's nightmare. Satin Hot Pants leads us to a corner booth that's been roped off. It's near the bar with access to the dance floor. Clearly the best seats in the house. There'll be someone along to take your order shortly. She gives us her full megawatt smile and, with a final flutter of eyelashes at my husband, sashays back from where she came. Mia is already jigging from foot to foot, itching to get onto the dance floor, and Ethan takes pity on her. Champagne? Christian asks as they head off, holding hands toward the dance floor. Ethan gives him a thumbs up and Mia nods enthusiastically. Kate and Elliot sit back on the soft velvet seating, hand in hand. They look so happy, their features soft and radiant in the glow from the tea lights flickering in crystal holders on the low table. Christian gestures for me to sit, and I scoot in beside Kate. He takes a seat beside me and anxiously scans the room. Show me your ring. I raise my voice over the music. I will be hoarse by the time we leave. Kate beams at me and holds up her hand. The ring is exquisite, a single solitaire in a fine elaborate claw with tiny diamonds on either side. It has a retro Victorian look to it. It's beautiful. She nods in delight and, reaching over, squeezes Elliot's thigh. He leans down and kisses her. Get a room, I call out. Elliot grins. A young woman with short dark hair and a mischievous smile, wearing the regulation black satin hot pants, comes to take our order. What do you want to drink? Christian asks. You're not picking up the tab for this too, Elliot grumbles. Don't start that shit, Elliot, Christian says mildly. Despite the objections of Kate, Elliot, and Ethan, Christian has paid for the meal we just consumed. He simply waved them aside and would not hear of anyone else paying. I gaze at him lovingly. My 50 shades, always in control. Elliot opens his mouth to say something, but, wisely perhaps, closes it. Again. I'll have a beer, he says. Kate, Christian asks, more champagne please. The crystal is delicious. But I'm sure Ethan would prefer a beer. She smiles sweetly, yes, sweetly at Christian. She is incandescent with happiness. I feel it radiating off her, and it's a pleasure to bask in her joy. Anna, champagne please. Bottle of crystal, 3 Peronis, and a bottle of iced mineral water, 6 glasses, he says in his usual authoritative, no-nonsense manner. It's kinda hot. Thank you, sir. Coming right up. Miss Hot Pants number 2 gives him a gracious smile, but he's spared the fluttering of eyelashes, though. Her cheeks redden a little. I shake my head in resignation. He's mine, girlfriend. What? He asks me. She didn't flutter her eyelashes at you. I smirk. Oh, was she supposed to? He asks, failing to hide his mirth. Women usually do. Own is ironic. He grins. Mrs. Gray, are you jealous? Not in the slightest. I pout at him, and I realize in that moment that I'm beginning to tolerate women ogling my husband. Almost. Christian clasps my hand and kisses my knuckles. You have nothing to be jealous of, Mrs. Gray, he murmurs close to my ear, his breath tickling. I know. Good. The waitress returns, and moments later I'm sipping another glass of champagne. Here, Christian hands me a glass of water. Drink this. I frown at him and see, rather than hear, his sigh. 3 glasses of white wine at dinner and 2 of champagne, after a strawberry daiquiri and 2 glasses of frascati at lunchtime. Drink now, Anna. How does he know about the cocktails this afternoon? I scowl at him, but actually, he does have a point. Taking the glass of water, I down it in a most unladylike manner to register my protest at being told what to do. Again, I wipe my hand across the back of my mouth. Good girl, he says, smirking. You vomited on me once already. I don't wish to experience that again in a hurry. I don't know what you're complaining about. You got to sleep with me. He smiles and his eyes soften. Yeah, I did. Ethan and Mia are back. Ethan's had enough for now. Come on, girls, let's hit the floor. Strike a pose. Throw some shapes. Work off the calories from the chocolate mousse. Kate stands immediately. Coming, she asks Elliot. Let me watch you, he says, and I have to look away quickly, blushing at the look he gives her. She grins as I stand. I'm going to burn some calories, I say, and leaning down I whisper in Christian's ear, you can watch me. Don't bend over. He growls. Okay. I stand abruptly. Whoa. Head rush. And I clutch Christian's shoulder as the room shifts and tilts a little. Perhaps you should have some more water, Christian murmurs, warning clear in his voice. I'm fine. These seats are low, and my heels are high. Kate takes my hand, and taking a deep breath, I follow her and Mia, perfectly poised, onto the dance floor. The music is pulsing, a techno beat with a thumping bass line. The dance floor isn't crowded, which means we have some space. The mix is eclectic, young and old alike, dancing the night away. I have never been a good dancer. In fact, it's only since I've been with Christian that I dance at all. Kate hugs me. I'm so happy, he shouts over the music, and she starts to dance. Mia is doing what Mia does, grinning at the pair of us, throwing herself around. Geez, she's taking up a lot of room on the dance floor. I glance back toward the table. Our men are watching us. I start to move. It's a pulsing rhythm. I close my eyes and surrender to it. I open my eyes to find the dance floor filling up. Kate, Mia, and I are forced closer together, and to my surprise, I find I'm actually enjoying myself. I begin to move a little more bravely. Kate gives me 2 thumbs up, and I beam back at her. Close my eyes. Why did I spend the first 20 years of my life not doing this? I chose reading over dancing. Jane Austen didn't have great music to move to, and Thomas Hardy, geez, he'd have felt guilty as sin that he wasn't dancing with his first wife. I giggle at the thought. It's Christian. He has given me this confidence in my body and how I can move it. Suddenly, there are 2 hands on my hips. I grin. Christian has joined me. I wiggle, and his hands move to my behind and squeeze, then back, to my hips. I open my eyes, and Mia is gaping at me in horror. Shit, am I that bad? I reach down to hold Christian's hands. They're hairy. Fuck. They're not his. I whirl around, and towering over me is a blonde giant with more teeth than is natural and a leering smile to showcase them. Get your hands off me, I scream over the pounding music, apoplectic with rage. Come on, sugar, it's just some fun. He smiles, holding his ape-like hands up, his blue eyes gleaming under the pulsing ultraviolet lights. Before I know what I'm doing, I slap him hard across the face. Ow. Shit. My hand. It stings. Get away from me, I shout. He gazes down at me, cupping his red cheek. I thrust my uninjured hand in front of his face, spreading my fingers to show him my rings. I'm married, you asshole. He shrugs rather arrogantly and gives me a half-hearted, apologetic smile. I glance around frantically. Mia is at my right, glaring at blonde giant. Kate is lost in the moment doing her thing. Christian is not at the table. Oh, I hope he's gone to the restroom. I step back into a front I know well. Oh shit. Christian puts his arm around my waist and moves me to his side. Keep your fucking hands off my wife, he says. He's not shouting, but somehow he can be heard over the music. Holy shit. She can take care of herself, blonde giant shouts. His hand moves from his cheek where I've slapped him, and Christian hits him. It's like I'm watching it in slow motion. A perfectly timed punch to the chin that moves at such speed, but with so little wasted energy. Blonde giant doesn't see it coming. He crumples to the floor like the scumbag he is. Fuck. Christian. No. I gasp in panic, standing in front of him to hold him back. Shit. He'll kill him. I already hit him, shout over the music. Christian doesn't look at me. He's glaring at my assailant with a malevolence I've not seen before flaring in his eyes. Well, maybe once. Before after Jack Hyde made a pass at me. The other dancers move outward like a ripple in a pond, clearing space around us, keeping a safe distance. Blonde giant scrambles to his feet as Elliot joins us. Oh no. Kate is with me, gaping at all of us. Elliot grasps Christian's arm as Ethan appears too. Take it easy, okay? Didn't mean any harm. Blonde giant holds his hands up in defeat, beating a hasty retreat. Christian's eyes follow him off the dance floor. He does not look at me. The song changes from the explicit lyrics of Sexy Bitch to a pulsing techno dance number with a woman singing with an impassioned voice. Elliot looks down at me, then across at Christian, and, releasing Christian, pulls Kate into a dance. I put my arms around Christian's neck until he finally makes eye contact, his eyes still blazing primal and feral, a glimpse of a brawling adolescent. Holy shit, he scrutinizes my face. Are you okay? He asks finally. Yes. I rub my palm, trying to dispel the sting, and bring my hands down to his chest. My hand is throbbing. I have never slapped anyone before. What possessed me? Touching me wasn't the worst crime against humanity, was it? Yet deep down I know why I hit him. It's because I instinctively knew how Christian would react to seeing some stranger pawing me. I knew he'd lose his precious self-control, and the thought that some stupid nobody could derail my husband, my love, well, it makes me mad, really mad. Do you want to sit down? Christian asks over the pulsing beat. Oh, come back to me, please. No, dance with me. He looks at me impassively, saying nothing. Touch me. The woman sings, dance with me. He's still mad. Dance. Christian, please. I take his hands. Christian glares after the guy, but I start to move against him, weaving myself around him. The throng of dancers has circled us once more, although there's now a 2-foot exclusion zone around us. You hit him? Christian asks, standing stock still. I take his fisted hands. Of course I did. I thought it was you, but his hands were hairier. Please dance with me. Double quotes. As Christian gazes at me, the fire in his eyes slowly changes, evolves into something else, something darker, something hotter. Suddenly, He grabs my wrists and pulls me flush against him, pinning my hands behind my back. You wanna dance? Let's dance. He growls close to my ear, and as he rolls his hips around into me, and do nothing but follow, his hands holding mine against my backside. Oh, Christian can move, really move. He keeps me close, not letting me go, but his hands gradually relax on mine, freeing me. My hands creep around, up his arms, feeling his bunched muscles through his jacket, up to his shoulders. He presses me against him, and I follow his moves as he slowly, sensually dances with me in time to the pulsing beat of the club music. The moment he grabs my hand and spins me first one way, then the other, I know he's back with me. I grin. He grins. We dance together, and it's liberating fun. His anger forgotten, or suppressed. He whirls me around with consummate skill in our small space on the dance floor, never letting go. He makes me graceful. That's who his skill. He makes me sexy, because that's what he is. He makes me feel loved, because in spite of his 50 shades, he has a wealth of love to give. Watching him now, enjoying himself, one could be forgiven for thinking he doesn't have a care in the world. I know his love is clouded with issues of overprotectiveness and control, but it doesn't make me love him any less. I am breathless when the song morphs to another. Can we sit? I gasp. Sure. He leads me off the dance floor. You've made me rather hot and sweaty, I whisper as we return to the table. He pulls me into his arms. I like you hot and sweaty, though I prefer to make you hot and sweaty in private. He purrs, and a lascivious smile tugs at his lips. As I sit, it's as if the incident on the dance floor never happened. I'm vaguely surprised we haven't been thrown out. I glance around the bar. No one is looking at us, and I can't see Blonde Giant. Maybe he left, or maybe he's been thrown out. Kate and Elliot are being indecent on the dance floor, then, and Mia less so. I take another sip of champagne. Here, Christian puts another glass of water before me and regards me intently. His expression is expectant. Drink it now. I do as I'm told. Besides, I'm thirsty. He lifts a bottle of Peroni from the ice bucket on the table and takes a long drink. What if there had been press here? I ask. Christian knows immediately that I'm referring to his knocking Blonde Giant on his ass. I have expensive lawyers, he says coolly, all at once arrogance personified. I frown at him. But you're not above the law, Christian. I did have the situation under control. His eyes frost. No one touches what's mine, he says with chilling finality, as if I'm missing the obvious. Oh, I take another sip of my champagne. All of a sudden I feel overwhelmed. The music is loud, pounding. My head and feet are aching, and I feel woozy. He grasps my hand. Come, let's go. I want to get you home, he says. Kate and Elliot join us. You going? Kate asks, and her voice is hopeful. Yes, Christian says. Good. We'll come with you. Double quotes. As we wait at the coat check for Christian to retrieve my trench coat, Kate quizzes me. What happened with that guy on the dance floor? He was feeling me up. I opened my eyes and you'd hit him. I shrug. Well, Christian would go thermonuclear, and that could potentially ruin your evening. Still processing how I feel about Christian's behavior. At the time, I was worried that it could have been worse. Our evening, she clarifies. He is rather hot-headed, isn't he? Kate adds dryly, staring at Christian as he collects my coat. I snort and smile. You could say that. I think you handle him well. Handle? I frown. Do I handle Christian? Here. Christian holds my coat open for me so that I can put it on. Wake up, Anna. Christian is shaking me gently. We've arrived back at the house. Reluctantly, open my eyes and stagger from the minivan. Kate and Elliot have disappeared, and Taylor is standing patiently beside the vehicle. Do I need to carry you? Christian asks. I shake my head. I'll fetch Miss Gray and Mr. Kavanaugh, Taylor says. Christian nods, then leads me to the front door. My feet are throbbing, and I stumble after him. At the front door, he bends down, grasps my ankle, and gently pries off first one shoe, then the other. Oh, The relief. He straightens and gazes down at me, holding my Manolos. Better? He asks, amused. I nod. I had delightful visions of these around my ears, he murmurs, staring down wistfully at my shoes. He shakes his head and, taking my hand once more, leads me through the darkened house and up the stairs to our bedroom. You're wrecked, aren't you? He says softly, staring down at me. I nod. He starts to unbuckle the belt on my trench coat. I'll do it, I mutter, making a half-hearted attempt to brush him off. Let me, I sigh. I had no idea I was this tired. It's the altitude. You're not used to it. And the drinking, of course. He smirks, divests me of my coat, and throws it on one of the bedroom chairs. Taking my hand, he leads me into the bathroom. Why are we going in here? Sit, he says. I sit on the chair and close my eyes. I hear him as he messes around with bottles on the vanity unit. I am too tired to open my eyes to find out what he's doing. A moment later, he tips my head back, and I open my eyes in surprise. Eyes closed, Christian says. Holy crap, he's holding a cotton ball. Gently, he wipes it over my right eye. I sit stunned as he methodically removes my makeup. Ah, there's the woman I married, he says after a few wipes. You don't like makeup? I like it well enough, but I prefer what's beneath it. He kisses my forehead. Here, take these. He puts some Advil into my palm and hands me a glass of water. I look and pout. Take them, he orders. I roll my eyes, but do as I'm told. Good. Do you need a private moment? He asks sardonically. I snort. So coy, Mr. Gray. Yes, I need to pee. He laughs. You expect me to leave? I giggle. You want to stay? He cocks his head to one side, his expression amused. You are one kinky son of a bitch. Out. I don't want you to watch me pee. That's a step too far. I stand and wave him out of the bathroom. When I emerge from the bathroom, he's changed into his pajama bottoms. Christian, in PJs. Mesmerized, I gaze at his abdomen, his muscles, his happy trail. It's distracting. He strides over to me. Enjoying the view? He asks wryly, always. I think you're slightly drunk, Mrs. Gray. I think, for once, I have to agree with you, Mr. Gray. Let me help you out of what little there is of this dress. It really should come with a health warning. He turns me around and undoes the single button at the neck. You were so mad, I murmur. Yes, I was. At me? No, at you. He kisses my shoulder. For once, I smile. Not mad at me. This is progress. Makes a nice change. Yes, it does. He kisses my other shoulder, then tugs my dress down, over my backside and onto the floor. He removes my panties at the same time, leaving me naked. Reaching up, he takes my hand. Step, he commands, and I step out of the dress, holding his hand for balance. He stands and tosses my dress and panties onto the chair with Mia's trench coat. Arms up, he says softly. He slips his t-shirt over my head and pulls it down, covering me up. I am ready for bed. He pulls me into his arms and kisses me, my minty breath mingling with his. As much as I'd love to bury myself in you, Mrs. Gray, you've had too much to drink. You're at nearly 8,000 feet, and you didn't sleep well last night. Come, get into bed. He pulls back the duvet and I climb in. He covers me up and kisses my forehead once more. Close your eyes. When I come back to bed, I'll expect you to be asleep. It's a threat, a command. It's Christian. Don't go, I plead. I have some calls to make, Anna. It's Saturday. It's late. Please. He runs his hands through his hair. Anna, if I come to bed with you now, you won't get any rest. Sleep. He's adamant. I close my eyes and his lips brush my forehead once more. Good night, baby, he breathes. Images of the day flash through my mind. Christian hauling me over his shoulder in the plane. His anxiety as to whether or not I'd like the house. Making love this afternoon. The bath. His reaction to my dress. Decking blonde giant, my palm tingles at the memory. And then, Christian putting me to bed. Who would have thought? I grin widely, the word progress running around my brain as I drift